He was in a hurry, and because I guess it was raining, he wanted to get this undercover.
So you weren't here when Dylan came down here?
He's a friend of mine.
Sure. You don't get rid of friends.
At first, this looked like a simple missing person call. 19-year-old Dylan Rounds had been living the life he wanted, working his land, building his farm, and trying to prove he could make it on his own in the middle of the Utah desert. But when his family suddenly stopped hearing from him, everything changed. Dylan was not the type to disappear without warning. His truck was still there. His property was quiet, and the people closest to him immediately felt something was wrong. What police did not know yet was that the answer was not hidden miles away in town. It was much closer, sitting right in front of them from the very beginning.
Stay the hell out of Montello.
I mean, that whole town is it's a crazy place.
Some other guy pointed a gun in my freaking...
I could give you some names of some scumbags over there, but he's been shooting his mouth off about how much money he's making. And there's one guy, Chase Ventura, he's over there, and he could do anything he wants. He's been robbing, stealing, and everything, and the Elko County Sheriff won't do anything about it. And if you talk to his mother, she knows more about it, but he run into Chase on the Tacoma Road the other day, and Chase kind of scared him a little bit.
What's your last name again, Jim?
Jim Brener. Well, I'll let you get down there before they disturb the crime scene.
Okay, thank you.
Jim Brener's first conversation with police seemed helpful on the surface. He pointed detectives toward Chase Venstra, a local man with a violent reputation, and he gave them names, rumors, and possible motives. But one detail stood out immediately. Jim referred to Dylan's property like it was already a crime scene, even though police were still treating this as a missing person case. That one comment did not prove anything, but it created an uncomfortable question. How did Jim seem so sure something criminal had happened? For now, investigators followed the information he gave them, but looking back, this moment was the first time Jim may have revealed more than he meant to.
In there?
Like he said, he has a 40 that he puts in the door every side.
Did you just pop the back window?
I broke it out.
Well,
Himself.
so what did you farm for?
Okay.
Grain or...
Great.
Grain?
Yeah.
James stopped me when you guys went around me and was talking to me. He said that you knew something about a run-in he had with a guy named Chase.
Yeah, on Wednesday, but they told me that's normal, so...
I know a lot of the people that he named from Montello are not good people. I only know of them from what people say.
Ready to share yet?
I did get a few.
Okay.
Last location was 15.4 miles from the boat line tower, which puts him on this back road.
So would that hit him walking? Okay, I know my son, and that's the shortest route to his camp.
If he walked, that road ends right out there. If he walked, he would have come cut across this field.
But that's his closest cell phone, Pete. Not in town, it's out here.
Mm-hmm. Off of that road. The back road into the compound.
And we go down to where it is?
Yeah.
What time was that? Does it tell you?
And that was at 14:58.
So right after.
So just before 3 o'clock.
Right after you left. Yeah. So he must have pulled in right behind you. He dropped off the grain truck, and I'm telling you, I bet you he took off walking.
How do you get to that road from?
So
we don't have to go all the way back to Lucin Pond and over.
No.
The phone ping changed the entire direction of the search. Dylan's last known location placed him near the route between the grain shed and his camp, making it possible that he had been walking through the desert when something happened. Then came the boots. They were found discarded near the shed, stained with what appeared to be blood. For Dylan's family, this was the first real sign that he had not simply walked away. For investigators, it meant the search had to shift from finding a missing teenager to preserving evidence in a possible violent crime. And still, the person who knew the most was standing nearby, calmly answering questions.
They've only been out there for a day or two. You didn't see anybody else around here?
I left here about 1:30, went over to Don's, and I was there until about 9 o'clock at night. And when I come back...
Sure. You don't get rid of friends. Those two boots out there, they're brand new. Like they've only been out there. They're the same color leather as your boots, and they're the same ones he wears. So we're just curious of why his boots would be out there. Same size he wears. They've only been out there probably for a day or two.
He might have threw them out there.
Yeah, maybe he did. Well, does he know that's a dump out there? He does?
He's got electronics and shit in there. Maybe. Because like I say, he was here. He had to have been here. truck here.
Yeah. Huh, that would make sense.
I have a kid named Dylan Rounds. Oh, I know. We got locals out here looking at him, too. So, they went out that way because he was out for loose ends.
I was hearing Kurt say something about he had a conversation with that Chase kid.
Yeah, that's who I'm looking for. Where do we find him?
I'm kind of worried about it because if Dylan did walk back from where he left the grain truck and Chase got a hold of him as vulnerable, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Walking back, something bad could have happened because there was a bad injury with a kid just out here that got his face smashed in by the butt of a gun. And the whole camper shell was all bashed in and stuff.
Where do we find Chase? Is he from here? Does he live here?
Yeah, he does. He doesn't. He's from around here. Where he hangs out.
Yeah, staying out here, and he was
Where was he staying at?
thief in town, and so everybody was after him, and they finally told him to get the hell out of town.
Having an issue, do you know?
So Kurt told me, and I was overhearing part of the conversation, saying that Dylan was just driving down the road, and Chase stopped it. And said, hey, got some water. He was like, hey, do you know Kurt? And I guess they got in an altercation about that because Chase was like, Kurt's an asshole, and Dylan was like, no, he's not. You know, he's a good guy. I work for, do work for him, blah, blah, blah. There was an altercation. Then he went on his way. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken the conversation, that was the same day that he drove the grainer over to wherever and then whoever was there couldn't give him a ride back, so he possibly won. That's all I know about the conversation.
How does the kid getting hit with the butt of a gun, does that figure into this at all?
I can get that. I think there is some, because now we're talking violence. So, kid let his property go. He stopped making payments on his property because he's so scared. But he woke up to the butt end of a gun into his face. They smashed his camper.
How old was he?
I don't know, 30s. Has a family, has kids. He's out here, bought land out here, so I'm trying to homestead.
He's not out here. We won't be matching.
Nope, he left to be.
At this point, Chase Venstra looked like the obvious suspect. Multiple people said he had crossed paths with Dylan. Locals described him as dangerous, unpredictable, and capable of violence. Even Dylan's family believed Chase may have been involved, especially after hearing that Robert Ailes might have driven him near Dylan's property. But this is exactly what made the case so complicated. The investigation was being pulled toward a man who already had a bad reputation, while someone else was blending in as a helper. The more police focused on Chase, the more time the real answer had to disappear into the desert.
So on 525 is when Dylan ran into Chase with the desert and called me right after. He had no shoes on. Dylan wouldn't let him take his phone or give him a ride, but he did allow him to call his dad on speakerphone in Ogden, Utah.
Okay. Dylan allowed Chase.
Dylan allowed Chase to, and then he gave him some coke, and then his dad called Dylan back, and Dylan sent the pin from his phone to where Chase was.
Okay.
So then we fast forward to 528, which was Saturday. Dylan was heard from in the morning. He talked to his grandma, and he was going to take the grain truck to the shed to put it in shelter because it was raining.
Okay.
So at this point, we assumed he was walking back across the desert to his camper because he didn't have a ride.
This is in Millwood.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that how it is?
Loose end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So then 529, they continued to look for him. 530, we all got here to Dylan's last known location, loose end, filed the police report, got search and rescue out. That's the night we found Dylan's boots about 400 yards from where his last known location was, tossed out behind a dirt pile, just out in the desert. And so then today we kept searching, and that's when these guys got to see him.
I don't know who that would be.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but I have no idea.
He's supposed to be hanging out with a guy named Chase.
And Robert.
Okay, I don't know. Chase might have an idea, but my son's been homesick, and he's been in bed all day, and he's been home all night. I don't know. I'm just wondering.
So who's all in your house?
Nobody.
Nobody's in there right now?
No. My son is in his trailer.
And where's that at?
In the backyard.
In the backyard?
Yeah.
Well, we're just trying to find it.
And no one came home with him.
Nobody came home with him?
No.
Okay. Is Chase here?
No. I don't let Chase on my property after I found him inside my home when I wasn't home.
We were told that there's possibly a missing kid.
Oh, being here. Yeah, no. You can feel free to look around if you
situation, like he's not being.
No,
see, that's why we're here, ma'am. I'm not about a car.
Look around if you want to. But there's
Is that
no one
okay?
here but my son, and he's.
You like where he got his gun? No, this is what I thought he got arrested for the first time. What he was in jail for when I came back. I asked Chase that. I was like, hey man, I heard you got arrested. He's like, nah, that's just all Montello gossip, blah, 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 right? So I'm kind of weary after giving him a ride. I tried to show one of my mom's friends, been out there in the community for a long time. He gave me his scenario. He thinks Chase did it too, okay? Now, I don't know the time frames because I'm not good with time like I told you guys. I did the best I could by contacting the store lady and asking her what day I gave Chase a ride. No, because I didn't even know what day I gave Chase a ride. I didn't even know what day the kid came up missing. I didn't even know there was a kid missing until the Nevada police came knocking on our door wanting to search our residence. You know what I mean? And that's the truth.
Okay. That is my grandfather's that I bought, and he has a room up there, and that was for 40. It's not in here. We looked in his camper, didn't find it. No key fob for the truck, so when I broke the window, the alarm went off. We undid the battery. No key fob. We looked in his camper and all the cupboards and stuff, looked in the bathroom, nothing. My mother came here. She has real bad arthritis. My sister was here. We were all out searching. She used the bathroom. Dylan hadn't flushed it. This in here is really nasty. So my sister went in and cleaned it. Still no gun. Later, my son and JD came in, and the gun was sitting on a sink. It's outside of the bathroom, but right by the bathroom door where the toilet and the shower is. It's the sink, but it's not in the bathroom. The gun was sitting right there with the clip outside of it.
Okay.
Sitting there. So my son and JD didn't think much of it. They grabbed the gun, put it in my truck. I didn't think much of it. Oh, they found the gun. I don't know. Then we started realizing that it wasn't there when my sister cleaned the bathroom for my mom.
What is Chase's ties to out here?
I don't know about Chase.
Okay.
Hardly any. But the whole town knows him. And the whole town, it's a crazy place. They're just all like, they're all nutty for one thing. The only people that I know of that really were in contact with Dylan is I hear the Chase guy. I didn't know it. But Don and Jim. Jim was the guy the place you guys go.
Okay.
Jim came out here and helped. Jim came to Rigby, where I live. I live in Rigby in Idaho Falls area. Dylan bought like 800 pigs or something from the Midwest when the pandemic hit, whatever, the corona. They brought them to my farm last test, and Jim was there, and I unleashed on him, told him to get the hell out of here. He called Dylan and told me he was going to blow my head off. Dylan called me, he got all mad. So when I found out he was going to blow my head off, I had to go see, and he's walking down the lane of the farm with a big old pistol, and my dad calmed it down and calmed me down. Then he came back this winter to my shop to work on that seed truck. Fine, everything was fine, and I realized he's still a friend. I'm not going to worry about this, you know what I mean? I got to bend ties with this stuff.
The story began to shift when Dylan's father mentioned an old confrontation with Jim Brener. Until then, Jim had been treated mostly like a witness, a neighbor, and someone who knew Dylan well. But this detail changed how detectives looked at him. Jim was not just a random man nearby. He had history with Dylan's family. He had been close to the property, and he had a violent criminal past that included weapons-related charges. Suddenly, the man who had been helping point police toward other suspects became a person investigators needed to examine more closely. And when officers moved to arrest him on an unrelated warrant, they finally had a chance to question him directly.
What can I do for you guys?
Well, we just had a couple of things we wanted to talk to you about. We're still trying to figure stuff out, and just have you guys heard and seen anything these days? Anything new?
This trash over here. I know names. I know people. I know that nobody seems to want to listen to me.
I guess you guys
they're the ones coming over stealing shit.
Are they?
Yeah. Chase Vestra and Robert Aviles are the ones that robbed Michael Moore up here. But everybody keeps saying, that's we need Frank Pullen. You need to check friggin' rat's nest over there open, and people are going to start talking. That's the only way you're going to find out about Dylan.
There's a warrant for your arrest. I'm going to let you know about it right now. From Maryland? Or so we're going to pick you up, take you to jail with us. Oh, God damn it. So what I want you to do, I know before you even try anything, place your hands on your head for me.
Issued, and we're obligated by law. You found that, sir. I don't know if you realize this, but there's other bigger problems going on over there than this.
Here to talk to you about that warrant. You just got brought in on that warrant.
Okay.
We would like to talk to you about the other things that are going on out there.
We've got kids. I understand they're fine. And I know them better than you do. I work for them. Okay.
That's why you're one of the reasons why you're sitting there.
Yeah.
Because I know you know him.
Dylan used to go in the bar and be bragging about how much money he's made. Dylan never carried money on him. Bought everything with credit card. But if he did have $1 in his wallet, he wouldn't give it up. And I think this is a strong arm robbery. Somebody thought they'd see this little 5'5" kid, and I think they figured, we're going to get this guy. We're going to rob this guy. We're going to intimidate him. Dylan don't intimidate.
With the strong arm robbery, who do you believe did?
Chase and Robert Aviles.
Is there any reason anyone would say you did it?
If I did this, I'd be 1/6 son of a bitch.
Well, there's got to be somebody that's some 6 son of a bitch somewhere. What about Don?
I've known Don for over 2 years. And Don's gone off with revolves around tractors, farming. I mean, he had a couple guns that his dad gave him, and he had a shotgun, and we found that. That's up in Rigby. But he always carried that in the back seat. And the pistol he had, they found that, and he was afraid to keep that loaded. He used to keep the gun in the console and keep a loaded magazine. And I told him, I said, Dylan, you either need to learn how to use that thing or put it somewhere. I said, that's going to get you killed. And
inside the interview room, Jim kept doing what he had done from the beginning, pointing away from himself. He talked about Chase, Robert, local criminals, robberies, and everyone else who might have wanted to hurt Dylan. But then he made another strange comment about Dylan's gun, saying it was going to get him killed, before adding that it was too late for that. Once again, it was not a confession, but it sounded like someone speaking with knowledge he should not have had. Investigators could not prove it yet, but Jim was slowly becoming more than a witness. He was becoming the man they could not ignore.
He didn't call me, Ross called me and said that you were looking to talk about Brener. Was it Brener and just the case, basically, right?
Yeah, they put me in there. I'm the cell above Brener. Okay. I've got to talk to him. I've talked to other cellmates. I know a lot.
Okay.
I know a lot. I can put this thing to bed for you.
Well, I mean, honestly, to be straightforward with you, I can't do anything about the charges. Me myself, right? They got to be federal, right?
No, they're state.
Oh, I didn't even know that there were any. So
I want the charges dropped. I'll solve this case for you.
Right. I'm not able to do it, so I just came to talk to you to see if you had something you wanted to tell me.
I've got everything to tell you, but when I'm out of these chains and in my clothes,
well, and that's what I'm saying. I can't make that kind of deal with you, so it's fine if you don't want to.
That's what I want.
That's fine.
I just want to be left alone. But we got an ultrasound on my new baby tomorrow. I want to go be there with her. This is my first baby. I'm applying for a job with the state out there.
I hope you get it.
I'm done with this thing. I've been dragged through the mud with this thing with Dylan. I know how it happened, where it happened, when. I know what was used and where it's at.
Okay.
I put this whole thing to bed for you guys.
Well,
okay.
And
I hate to.
I wish you could, but there's not anything I can offer you.
Yeah, I hate.
Oh, I'll tell you something. Okay. I really don't think it has anything to do with anything. You guys found ammunition and stuff with Jones. Yeah. And he's in white powder and fits Mr. Kid. But he figured that would be a reason to either substitute or say whatever. So he brought his black powder rifles over black powder suit. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. Where are those? So I put one behind my bed, in my bedroom, the other one's laying up in the corner next to the table on the couch. When did he bring them? After Dylan. Oh yeah, definitely after. Why? Basically safety. We went open. Oh. Last time, you know, they had him in holding for over a year, and when he got out, everything he had was gone. Everything.
I can't ask you what's going through Jim's head at that time, but what's going through yours when he brings you his rifles and a 6-gun?
Honestly, you know, it looked like he was scared that, you know, he was going to be detained for 6 months or a year and lose everything he had. He said, no. He had no idea what happened to his horses last time. Well, okay. All his gun, everything he owned disappeared.
So why do you think he's going to get detained, or why does he think he's going to get detained for 6 months?
Just because he's a felon and he could be held.
Yeah. So he knows he's a felon, he knows he shouldn't have them, and so he...
Well, I don't know. You know, according to him, a black-powered primitive weapon is not considered firearm. Now,
Donald Hatley's interview gave detectives the first major break against Jim Brener. Donald admitted that after Dylan disappeared, Jim brought guns to his property and asked him to hide them. Jim claimed he was only worried about being a felon in possession of firearms, but the timing was impossible to overlook. Dylan was missing. Bloody boots had been found near the shed, and now Jim was quietly moving weapons away from his own property. It was the kind of behavior investigators look for when someone is trying to protect themselves. Still, police needed more than suspicion. They needed something that connected Jim directly to Dylan's final moments.
So they had said that you wanted us to come back, that you had more information?
Yeah.
Or did you have information before that you just didn't give us all of it?
No, I didn't really have a whole lot of information then.
Okay.
I got plenty of information now. I got information that would probably help maybe even keep him cut the deal that he wants to cut a deal with. On his right hand, nobody has noticed, he's got a bite mark. He's got a bite from Dylan rounds. The 22 is what killed Dylan. 2 shots. 22? Yeah, the 22.
Did he tell you that?
Yeah.
The story tell you that?
Like 2 days ago, 3 days ago.
Go through that.
He said it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. He was in there taking shit, and then he heard a diesel truck drive by the place he was staying in. And when he got out there, he had his 45, a gun that he put in a fold-over holster. And Dylan had picked it up off the sawhorses that he'd thrown his stuff all around, moved it up so he could put the truck in the
shed. Okay.
Yeah. And Dylan was holding the 45, and he said he got really pissed off at him and started yelling at him and telling him get the fuck out of there. And Dylan took the gun and fired it right beside his ear. That's why he can't hear out of his right side ear. He said he grabbed for the gun and was fighting for it. He said they ended up on the ground, and Dylan ended up shooting himself in the leg with the 45. And then he said that while they were fighting, the gun got fired like 2 or 3 times. He said there's a bullet hole in the side of the building out there you can see. He said when you guys was out there talking to him and standing in the shed or standing out there, he said he was sitting there looking at it. And then he showed me a scar on his thumb too, where he had stuck his hand in the gun that was trying to keep Dylan from firing it again, but he was clicking it, and his whole right hand was damaged at one time.
Okay.
But the bite mark is evident, very seeable, and the body is somewhere right there close by. He said he's seen tire marks over it where you guys have been driving. Somebody's been driving on it.
Did he give you any indication of where? There's a lot of country out there.
Yeah, he said it's in the high desert.
Did he say that it was close to where he killed him?
Yeah, it's close. It's close somewhere there
where he killed him.
And he gave like a 25-mile circumference.
Highways.
Yeah.
Okay, so he heard Dylan drive by in his truck. Dylan had backed the truck into the grain shed.
No, he said the truck was still parked out.
So it wasn't back in yet?
Yeah, no, it wasn't back in. And that's when they had the fight. They had the fight going on there. He said that the round on the gun got turned. He said he heard it turn.
I guess it was a revolver?
Yeah, it was a revolver. He said that he got to the chance where Dylan quit biting him on his wrist. He latched onto him, and he said he got up and he took off out, and that's when he got the 22. Dylan told him to bring his ass back in there
or he was going to shoot the horse. The horse was standing outside.
Into the grain shed?
Yeah, the horse was standing out there eating grain out of the back of the truck.
And then, from what you're saying, did he run back to the trailer and get down and do?
He said it was behind the bags, some grain bags. He said he took 3 shots at him and they're all headshots. He said one of them grazed Dylan on the side of the face. He pointed just like this to the side of the face, so it could have been red. I couldn't tell you if it was right side or left side. But then he said 2 more shots and shot Dylan.
Cellmate's statement finally gave investigators the story they had been trying to uncover for more than a year. According to him, Jim described a violent confrontation with Dylan at the grain shed, followed by the use of a firearm and a desperate attempt to hide the evidence. That confession pushed detectives back toward the physical clues they already had. Dylan's blood on the boots, Jim's DNA, phone data, and the pond near the property. When Dylan's phone was recovered, it reportedly contained the kind of evidence investigators had been missing. The case that once pointed toward Chase now pointed clearly back to Jim Brener, the man who had been hiding in plain sight since day one.